Another thing that I like about this book is that it's got a very cinematic feel to it. You can imagine that this could be a film. Pretty much like Death Troopers, but I'll get on to that later. In fact, there's one thing I will say about Red Harvest now, as opposed to Death Troopers. So if you don't want to listen to this particular spoiler, stop the video now. Do whatever you got to do. Go look at the Death Troopers review, and then come back to this one, because this is the only reason why I'm saying this in this order. Okay, go now. Okay, I'm assuming if you're still here, then you've read Death Troopers, or you really want to know what the hell I'm talking about, then here goes. Death Troopers does not end on a humongous explosion. There's one thing about these things that I like personally as a reader. I like there to be a fight to the death, there's a whole gambit to survive, everything else, and I like things to end in a massive explosion and the good guys get away, and you know, and all is good, you know. Pretty much, you know, like most sci-fi action films, I suppose, in the past. Death Troopers does not end on that note, but Red Harvest, if you read Red Harvest second, it more than makes up for it. It really has a fantastic, explosive finale. In fact, it's got two. The Sith Academy on Adasa Faustin is just completely wiped out, along with all the zombies and the solution and everything else with it. It's all gone. And then on the ship leaving Adasa Faustin, there's a battle not unlike the end scenes from Alien, or Aliens, you know, the second one. There's a tussle on the ship, and they get away, and there's bulkheads flying off, and people dying and spiralling into space. It's just that. I read that. I got to the end of that part, and I thought, yes, now that's much better. That's a good way to end a book. I'm not saying that the end of Death Troopers was bad, but it just seemed a little anticlimactical. But Red Harvest more than makes up for that. I can tell you this. It starts off very slow, but it has a fantastic action ending. And once that gets going, you'll be through the end of the book like that. You know, you really will be surprised how quickly you get through this book. Out of 5, or out of 10, I like to think, let's go for 10. Let's go for 10. I would give it a solid 7, approaching 8. Simply because it's slow to get started. There's way too many characters, because, I mean, it's nice to see all the little gambits between the Sith students trying to outdo each other and screw each other over, but there's too many, and there's a few characters that arrive in the story and then die, and they serve absolutely no purpose at all, apart from telling the audience what Scabrous is looking for. But you know, you cut that out, and then you actually get to what Scabrous is after in the first place, it wouldn't really make a difference. So I would give this a solid 8 out of 10, which is good, because anything over a 5 is sort of like, buy this book now. And one thing I haven't said, which I think I should say, if you're still unconvinced, these books have got a lot of wow factors. This is how I was sort of drawn in. The wow factor, the bit that makes you just go, dude, sweet. For starters, you have got Sith zombies with lightsabers, and there is a scene where there is a whole army of them, zombie Sith with force powers and lightsabers, screaming and being animalistic, but actually having the intelligence to use lightsabers. Purely, I mean, we are talking underpants changing concept there. I really cannot put anything else. I put that top first. The second one, if you're really into that sort of thing, I love the idea of Sith black magic. It's almost like the Jedi are into science and logistics and making things run, and everything works out. It's all pretty normalistic, but with the Sith there's a much darker edge, and this goes into Sith black magic and why they're after the Orchid, and alchemy, and it's almost necromancy, Sith necromancy. That's as close to it as I can possibly get, because you're talking about bringing the dead back or escaping death altogether. I mean, that's practically what necromancy is. I mean, I know that's probably just incurred an entire argument on the comments below. Please argue until your balls drop off. I'm really not interested. It's just the way that I see it. But seriously, I would definitely recommend this one, Star Wars Red Harvest by Joe Schriever. It doesn't make a difference what order you read these in. You could read this one first because it's chronological, or you could read Death Troopers first because it's the one everybody reads, and then you read this one as a prequel, sequel. You know the way that Star Wars works. You can watch it in either order, and it's still going to make sense. So, but absolutely top-notch review. Get it, buy it, read it, get the audiobook. Star Wars Red Harvest. Absolutely fantastic.